Elly De La Cruz, and he's a 21-year-old. He plays for the Cincinnati Reds. He's 6'5", weighs 200 pounds, and has completely knocked the cover off the ball since he's been in the minors. Flew under the radar, and now I think is skyrocketing to the moon.
Elly De La Cruz, out of the Dominican Republic, signed with the Cincinnati Reds, made his debut in 2019, got 186 plate appearances there. During that time, he hit 285 with a 351 OBP and a 382 slugging percentage. Nothing particularly remarkable there, but again, he's 17 years old at this point. In 2021, after the COVID break, this is where his prospect status started to be built. He hit 296 with a 336 OBP and a 539 slugging percentage. As a 19-year-old in 265 plate appearances, 8 home runs and 10 stolen bases. He was coming into 2022 building some of that prospect stock. He was kind of entering the season in a lot of lower half of top prospect rankings. He was getting noticed, but in the lower half. And then this year, especially in the second half of the season, it seemed he had a phenomenal year across high A and double A. Just didn't seem to stop hitting the ball. He hit 304 with a 359 on base percentage and a 586 slugging percentage, 28 home runs and 47 stolen bases. Talking about massive power and speed. Those numbers are sparkling.
Yeah.
Now, I'm here to tell you our number one shortstop has a major red flag. And that's in his plate discipline, which is pretty awful. This season, he walked 40 times and struck out 158. That's not good. No. He's been like this throughout his career. Last season, he walked 14 times and struck out 80. Can he find success playing like that? I think he can. You often find these kind of guys and they don't end up making it. They eventually get exposed. Pitchers that are smart, which the pitchers that are at the major league level are the smartest and oftentimes also the most talented. But they're going to learn how to exploit that, or they're going to work to learn how to exploit that, which means if he is going to find success, he's really got to learn that over the next couple of years. Can he be a successful major leaguer with that kind of a walk to strikeout ratio? He can. Mm-hmm. There are other guys that have done it. But I'm just telling you right now, if he's doing that at double A, it's going to be a lot worse at the major league level. So he's got to get that figured out. Our peak projections don't care about that. They're only looking at what does it look like on average when he gets to the next level. And they're seeing something pretty special in there. I'm running a red flag up the pole. But I'm also saying that I think that this guy is really intriguing nonetheless. He has scout grade equivalencies of 55 for hit, 60 for power, and 60 for speed. Similar to the last two guys that we talked about, Lawler and Volpe, he grades out as a 20-20 threat, 26 home runs and 22 stolen bases. Grades out with the best power out of all the guys that we've talked about in the second half of the day. I think overall on the list, 485 slugging percentage with a 262 batting average and a 316 OBP. So if you're in OBP leagues, that's something you want to keep in mind is his OBP is probably going to be a little on the lower end comparatively. But they are seeing him making a debut in 2023, which is pretty aggressive. I would push that back a little bit personally, probably to 2024, assuming he continues to hit. But again, that play discipline is going to be a sticking point. This year on the season, he struck out in 31% of his plate appearances. It's really high. And his track record is the exact same, 30% plus. and only walking in 5, 8, 7%, of his plate appearances. So I think that's one thing that I really want to see get addressed in him. And if he figures it out and he's able to do it at the major league level, we're talking about a 30-30 talent. If he doesn't, I mean, we're talking about a huge bust at this point, because this guy is a top 10 prospect everywhere. One final thing, he garners a comp to Christian Yelich, and that's a pretty interesting one. Lately, Christian Yelich has been all right, but he's still hitting with some decent power and stealing some bases. But I mean, if you're looking at peak Christian Yelich, that guy was really good, among the best hitters in baseball, the best hitter in baseball during that stretch. So it's an interesting one. We'll see if Elly De La Cruz, physical specimen, can get there.
I'm a huge stickler on the strikeout percentage. Anytime I see 25% and higher, I start throwing a red flag. I start getting scared, and I don't want any part of it. When you have these kind of counting stats, I'll be completely frank, I don't give a shit. You have 28 home runs and 47 stolen bases. Strikeouts be damned, man. Do whatever the hell you got to do to keep those counting stats up there. I agree with you. I agree with you. I understand what you're talking about with major league pitching, figuring him out. But we're talking about 21-year-old in Double-A putting up these kind of numbers. He's got a lot to learn, a long way to go. I'm going to guess that he's got the athleticism to figure out pitchers as well. We have a 3-year track record of 30% strikeout.
But it's not just it's not just athleticism. We've seen a ton of athletic dudes that are just like extremely talented come up and not make it because pitchers are just like pitching around him. They're not giving him things to hit. They're putting things, maybe they're dangling things close to the zone and he's swinging away.
Yeah. No, I get it. But I'm going to put
too. And I'm not saying that, he's not, because I have no clue. I'm just saying it's a thing it's a red flag to me. It's a concern.
Yeah. And it should be. And I 100% agree with you. It's just when I see those eye-popping counting stats, man, I want to be all over it, especially with 300 average too. He's not Joey Gallo batting 200 and hitting 25 bombs. He's batting 300. And then coupling it with 47 stolen bases.
I guess my counterpoint would be Joey Gallo wasn't a 200 hitter when he was in the minor leagues either.
I'm just
a 300 hitter, but he wasn't a 200 hitter either. He was.
I'm just throwing out my argument. I'm a huge believer in Elly De La Cruz. I am a huge believer. I'm making the argument as a devil's advocate. The first thing I thought of was Delman Young. I can see Delman Young all over the place.
I think that this is a really good example of why this is a risk. We're talking about a guy that was #1 prospect.
Yeah.
Delman Young. In his minor league career, he was a .317 hitter with a .514 slugging percentage, but his walk to strikeout ratios were ugly.
Yeah.
Let's listen to this and tell me if this does not make you a little concerned when you're thinking about Elly De La Cruz. This is Delman Young when he was 19 years old. He was playing in Double-A and Triple-A through the season.
Jeez.
Double-A and Triple-A, 19 years old. Overall in the season, he hit .315 with a .354 OBP and a .527 slugging percentage, 26 home runs, and 32 stolen bases. That guy looks like a superstar, right?
Yeah.
And he walked 29 times. This is in 604 plate appearances. It's not very many walks. And struck out 99 times. That's a great pessimistic outlook for an Elly De La Cruz.
Man, I hope that it doesn't go down that route.
It's got to take a walk.
Yeah.
Got to take a walk.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and of course visit our website, scoutthestatline.com for more.